Hello, welcome to this video. Today we are gonna go look at our Sales Cyborg framework that you can install in HubSpot or maybe another CRM, but we do HubSpot because it's the best. So what are we gonna do today? We're gonna show you how you're gonna free up 2 extra hours per salesperson per day in your business in a B2B marketing agency, coaches, consultancy space generally, but it also applies to other businesses. Who am I? I am Nikolai. My business is I Mind Your Biz. We are HubSpot consultants, and we have developed this framework we call Sales Cyborg framework because it's going to enable you as a salesperson to actually become a cyborg, where you really use your digital systems to help you out to manage more leads, free up more time, close more deals, and progress all those things without you spending necessarily more time or more effort on it. It's also going to help the management team to actually get a super good clean overview with the data, because we're going to automate all the logging, all the syncing of data to the CRM system, so you can actually have reports and actually have insights that you don't have now, which is going to help you free up your brain space, but it's also going to make you make more and better informed decisions that is super transparent to your team and to the management level that is above you as well. Enough about that, enough about me. Let's get into it and give you some value. So the reason why we created this Sales Cyborg framework is because we saw within B2B businesses, usually you have like medium to longer sales cycles and processes. So you need to actually be engaged with a lot of different leads over a longer time to actually get the sales that you need to scale your business. And the money is usually in the follow-ups and in the volume of the leads that you're engaging with, right? And this is not rocket science. You probably already, you know this. Of course you do. You're a salesperson or a managing director. It's all about following up with the leads and having enough of them in your pipeline to actually make more sales and close deals, because you can't force people to buy quicker. They need to follow their own pace, but there are ways that we can make sure we stay within the vicinity and make sure that we stay top of mind, so that when they are ready, we are there to push that button. So what we're going to look at is a way again for you to free up those 2 hours, and this is going to increase your sales. All of these things we're going to show you, like I promise you, it's going to increase your sales if you implement this. It's going to make you outcompete and get a competitive advantage over your market and the competitors you have doing the same thing as you, because if you start doing this and they don't, well, then they're going to be screwed. And again, it's going to give you that great oversight. So why did we create the framework again? We did it because we see all of these B2B businesses with those sales cycles being medium to longer. They need to follow up and they need to have more volume. So how do we do that? Because you can't just whip your salespeople in place and make them hunt faster and more leads. Like, there's just inevitably gonna be tasks that is gonna slow them down. So one of those tasks is gonna be administrative work, manual data entry, manual logging of data, and just also spending too much time finding the right leads to approach at the right times. And if they don't approach the right leads at the right time, well, they're gonna waste a lot of time and their energy, and they're gonna be frustrated, like, oh, these leads are never ready, like they are so irrelevant, not even qualified, and they're gonna hate themselves spending the time, and you're gonna lose out as a business owner or a managing level as well. So that's what we're gonna fix with this video today. Going forward, in this framework, we have a few principles. We do not want our salespeople to log any data manually or do any manual data entry. We want them all to be automated. Also the actions, so following up with leads, making sure not to forget a single lead. All of that we're gonna automate as much of their work as possible, so they can handle 5 to 10x more leads at a time. We're gonna make sure that all this clean data is gonna come into your system, and we're gonna have 30 plus KPIs that we're gonna track. It's gonna be real time, it's gonna be clean data, things that you can trust to make sure that you're a proactive leader and that you set the pace in your marketplace. So let me introduce you to our framework that we call the Sales Cyborg, and we have the Sales Cyborg arsenal here. This is the things that's gonna enable you and your sales team to just totally smash your competitors. But let's look into it. All right, so from an overview, we have a few things here that's like the key elements of you to succeed. You have your sequences. So that's the name in HubSpot. A sequence is just automated steps of action that you can take. So that could be like step 1, you send an automated email. 2 days later, you have a task that tells you that you need to call the lead. 3 days later, you send another automated email. 2 days later, you connect with them on LinkedIn. 3 days later, you send them a LinkedIn message, stuff like that, and you get the ideas. You can design this. So these are really, really powerful, because it should be so that your salesperson whenever there's a place in their sales stage where they need to move a deal from one stage to another, there's usually some follow-up involved to push that deal, to push that lead towards closing the deal in the end. Now, we have located 9 strategies here where you should follow up with the lead and that you can automate. So that means that your sales rep doesn't have to manually remember all this. So that ensures that all your deals and all your sales are steadily moving forward, even though they sleep, even though they're out sick, even though they leave your company. All of this is gonna happen still. So let's look into it. Sequences. Whoa. Sequences here. These are some of the sequences that we have pinpointed you need to set up. So you need to have a post-meeting follow-up. So that means after you had a meeting with the prospect and you didn't give a proposal, then you need to make sure that the next meeting is being booked. If it's not being booked straight on the meeting, then you have to follow up with them, of course. And do not put in your calendar to call them. Do not, I don't know what you do. But design these follow-up sequences so that you make sure you push them to the next meeting. There could be something like, hey, thank you for the meeting. It was super interesting. And then you can also link to some sales material, maybe some flyers or whatever value you have, some videos that you have to show them more interest in your service to make sure they book that next meeting. Because as a salesperson, it's not always just enough to say, hey man, had you given some thought? That's the weakest position you could probably be in. But if you can give some value, then you could probably push them even better to that next meeting. And creating value in emails is very time consuming, and you know this already. But if you can make sure you design them beforehand, then you can just sit down, spend the time one time, or have us help you do that, and then you can use that every time to get people moved along. Post-call follow-up, kind of like same, you had a phone call, typical response would be, hey man, that sounds great, can you send me some material on an email? Yes, of course I can. You get the email, then you click one button, and then an email and a sequence to follow up with them will be sent automatically, sending them that material that you already have saved in that email template and everything, making sure that they get back to you. I should also say with all of these sequences that as soon as somebody replies to email, they will be kicked out of the sequence, so you manually take over, right? So you don't look like a buffoon that just keeps setting automated emails even though they have responded and they're like, what the hell? Also, if they also synchronize with your calendar, so if they book a meeting with you, that is going to be logged into the CRM automatically, and then that's also going to kick them out of the sequence because now they actually achieved the goal that you probably want them to do. So don't worry about that. Then we have the proposal follow-up. When you had a meeting, you had a proposal lined up with them, you maybe sent them a quote or whatever. You need to move them along to make a decision because people, they love to think about stuff, they love to have a lot of time. And if you don't stay within the vicinity and stay top of mind, people are going to have busy lives. They're going to have a dog that's sick. They're going to have kids that needs to be picked up from school. They're going to have, pain in their back. They're going to have doctor's appointments. They're going to have all this kind of thing. It doesn't mean that they don't want to move forward with you. It just means they forget about it. So you should do them a service and make sure you actually stay in touch with them, nurture them with these follow-ups. And if you can send them some value once in a while, bigger thumbs up for you. Then we have the database reactivation. This is really good if you have a lot of leads in your backlog, in your CRM, in your spreadsheet somewhere that has interacted with your company somehow. Maybe they downloaded an ebook, maybe they showed interest with them, maybe you talked to them once but they weren't ready at that time. Maybe bundle them all up and then send them a database reactivation campaign also automatically. So you have made some templates here, you have made maybe an offer that makes sense for them to now come back to you, and then you can send out automatically again and ensure that you get a lot more meetings very fast in your books. Upsell and renewal. This one is pretty interesting, I think. So once you have closed the client and you have a upsell or renewal chance, like you could sell more of your service to them, or you could sell another service, a cross-sell opportunity it could be, or that they are at the end of their service and then you need to offboard them. Why not make sure that you catch all of those opportunities? First of all, just having them logged in CRM so you know exactly when it's going to happen, so you catch them at that time before they are getting offboarded and all that, and even have it automated, Mike. So when you have that data in your CRM system saying like these are going to be offboarded in 3 months, then after 2 months you're going to start sending these automated emails and, hey guys, I was wondering if this would make sense to you as well. We have this other client who got a lot of success and they upgraded their package and now they blah blah blah. You get the idea. So again, automate this because 72% of your revenue in your business is actually coming from existing clients. 28% is only coming from new clients. So you should really squeeze out all the potential you can of your existing clients. They already know you, they trust you, they've seen the value you can bring, so it's going to be a much easier sell, or at least to get a meeting with them. Customer satisfaction follow-up. I really like this one as well. Because what it helps you do is that in a lot of businesses, you have a salesperson who sells to the client, and once the client closes, then another consultant will take over the service delivery and the customer success for them. And here there can be a discrepancy, because if the sales is not really making sure synchronizing with the consultant who's going to do the service delivery, well, then sometimes the client can feel like there's a mismatch between what they were promised by the salesperson and what they're then receiving. And a lot of salespeople, they actually generally care about the clients. They generally care what happens to them after they close them and that they're out of their hands. But again, time is a limiting factor, and you can't remember all of your clients to do that. And even though you can't get around to all of them. So this will help you do that. You can have a sequence. So as soon as a client closes, you can put them into sequence, saying that in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks, you're going to send them an email saying, hey guys, how's it going with the service? Is everything as you asked for, as you expected? You can maybe even say, hey, do you want to talk about? Do you have any questions for me? Or even include a link maybe to your review site on Trustpilot or whatever you're using, or just saying, hey man, can I get you to write a client statement for how you think it's going so far? Stuff like that is going to really help you pick up more customer satisfaction metrics. No-show follow-up is really good. Once you have meetings planned and booked, sometimes people, they don't show up for that meeting. Super annoying, and then you have to write them, call them, hey man, did you forget about it, blah, 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 all that. What about in your CRM system when the meeting is already locked anyways, right? You just you click a button on the meeting and saying they didn't show up. That is going to launch then, or you click a button, it is one button, right, somewhere in the CRM, that is going to set them into a sequence that's going to send them email saying, hey man, did you forget our meeting today? Can I get you to reschedule, or somehow motivate them to remember it, and then reschedule again, put in your link where they can go directly into your calendar and just book a time that fits them again. That is going to really help you to not lose the potential leads that you already maybe paid for. You spend some resources on to getting them, and if they actually book the meeting with you, that means they probably showed a lot of interest. So those you should definitely get back in the book again. So no response, inactive follow-up. So that is all the leads that maybe you already had them in one of the other follow-up sequences, or they've just been inactive for some time. You can have a no response follow-up sequence to make sure that you try one last time to see if you can get them re-engaged somehow. Maybe you need to do a better offer, a discount or something to get their attention back. But again, it's just one last shot that you can automate, so it doesn't cost you a thing, to see if you can actually reactivate some of those leads that you already spent resources on getting. Then you have repeat call reminders. That's not as much a sequence, but in HubSpot, once you have people who book a meeting with you in your calendar, you can send out these pre-call reminders to remind them, hey, we have a meeting tomorrow, we have a meeting in 10 minutes, we have a meeting now. And what I would suggest you doing is also record a little video of yourself, introducing yourself, briefing them about what you're going to do on this meeting, and kind of like get them motivated to also show up to the meeting to push that. That was the sequences. I hope that made sense to you. Otherwise, comment in the video and I'll be glad to answer more of that. Then we have reports and dashboards. Again, we have like 30 plus KPIs that we're tracking real time. That's really gonna help you out here. So we have a master dashboard, sales dashboard, customer retention dashboard, sales rep and team performance dashboard, sequences performance dashboard, lead intake dashboard, hygiene dashboard. So this is one of the top dashboards that we work with, and then we have a lot of different reports inside of them that I'm gonna go through as well in the video. So loads of features for success as well. So with HubSpot, a smart system like this is going to enable you to do a lot of different things. So let's just quickly go through them. You can sync and auto log your data. So your email, your phone, your calendar, your LinkedIn account, synchronize that with the HubSpot system so it's all just being tracked automatically. Don't even bother manually logging a single thing. It just gets synchronized into the system. It lands on the right companies, on the right contacts, on the right deals and everything. So it's really great. It's big time saver. You can have deal probability on the individual pipeline. I'm going to talk about that later. You have instant activity trackers. Like you have a feed. So all the leads that you're engaging with, there's a feed showing you whenever somebody opens your email, whenever somebody clicks a link in your email, whenever somebody then books they book a meeting in your calendar or they visit your website. This is going to be a feature showing you. So that means you can always just look there and then just call them up because you know they're right in that headspace of thinking about you right now. Lead qualification, lead assignment, team user management, meeting links, collect payments, integration, SaaS quote, blah, blah, blah. All this I'm going to go through in more details, so let's not waste time looking at that anymore. Same with the goals here. You can have these goals, overall goals you track within HubSpot. All right, great. Yes, important dashboards. So we have a performance dashboard for sequences. That was the follow-up strategies that is automated. And here, it's pretty straightforward. We just need to know, okay, exactly how many have you enrolled, how many has opened, how many has clicked, the emails and the steps in the sequence, so we can optimize on it. Send a score, like how is the durability rate, is it ending in spam, whatnot. And sequence enrollment totals, engagement rate. So all of these are just to say, like, okay, these follow-up strategies, are they working? How is each step? Maybe it could be like, okay, let's say the third email we have in a follow-up sequence is just really good. It's just performing really well. That's where we book all the meetings. Maybe we should move that up to be the first step because it's performing better. Let's say a lot of people, they just never open, never engages with the second email. Okay, we need to change some of the text in that because it's not really relevant for people. Stuff like that. Sequence. Master dashboard. This is gonna be the heart and soul of the business. This is what you need to look at least every day. So sorry, it's not really like that pretty, but I can't really show a client's real dashboard with the data. So I just have that just to show you the idea. So here you'll have, like, this is like the topmost KPIs that you want to look at in order for, like, how is it going with getting in new prospects and closing deals in the end. So this is going to show you like new leads, book calls in total, how many, qualified book calls, how many of those were qualified, of course. If you have setters who also makes bookings, you can also have KPI with that. Then the general show up rate, how many actually shows up to these meetings, how many sales calls are already taken, and how many needs to be taken so far of the booked ones. What is your close rate? This is for the deals, right? What is actually your close rate? And you will have a true number here, and you have the closed deals, like the count of them, how many. Then you'll have the new cash, how much cash have we actually collected in this period, and then what is the average cash money that we collect per deal that we close. And you can see that it's compared by a period. So here's like quarterly, you can compare it by, so you can see, okay, this quarter compared to last quarter, plus it will show a percentage increase or decrease on each of them, and that will be the same for all of them when they stay in them, right? So this one is really good. Like, if you just look at this for 5 minutes every day, you're gonna have a really good idea on where the bottlenecks are in your sales process and where you need to apply resources to make more sales. Right. So let me just get rid of this one. Okay, so that was the master dashboard. Then you have the hygiene dashboard. What this does, actually, hygiene dashboard, is just when you have a CRM, you're gonna have a lot of data in there, right? Some of it's gonna be trash. Some of people are gonna implement stuff or import stuff that shouldn't be there. And the hygiene dashboard actually just helps you know, okay, where do we need to clean up, right? So it could be like, okay, show me all the contacts that doesn't have an email address. Show me all the contacts that doesn't have any company associated with them. Show me all the contacts that have an email that is something with Gmail. Or it could be, show me all the companies that doesn't even have a contact associated with them. Show me all the contacts that have 2 different companies associated with them, right? You know, it's just stuff like that, so you can easily go in and then you can start cleaning up, or you can hire some assistant to do it for you. So, but that's very valuable, especially when you have a CRM system and have it for a few months or years. Sales dashboard. So this is gonna be all, like, a lot more sales metrics than just the master one. So weighted revenue forecasting, again, here it's very nice with HubSpot that you can say, like, you have your stages, right, in your sales pipeline. Then you can say, okay, the proposal stage, let's say that's a 90% probability that we're gonna win it when the deal is there. But you, as an experienced salesperson, you also know that that's not true. You know that some of the deals in the proposal stage is actually only a 30% probability of closing. So in HubSpot, you can actually go into that specific deal, and then you can just change that probability from 80 to 30, save it, and then even though the stage will make all the deals 80%, once you customize it, it will respect that. And then the weighted forecast you'll have at the bottom of your sales pipeline, like, you will have a summary of, like, okay, this is the total revenue, and then this is a probable revenue the weighted revenue that you will actually win. That will account for that when you customize the deals as well. So that's really nice. So we have a report here. It can be a graph or anything. Then average deal days to close. That is together with the funnel deal down here. So what it is that you can actually have like a deal progression view of it. So you can see like totally, you can see like what is the average day it takes from a fresh deal to actually go to close to one I lost, right? And then you can also see for every stage how long did it take and how many actually progressed to that next stage. So that means that you will have a overview of where the bottleneck is in your sales process by seeing where is the deals getting stalled, for example, right? Goals, let's take that. So goals could also be like you could tell HubSpot that we just need to get 100 meetings every month. That is the goal. So you can set up a goal in HubSpot and that will track on all the data, making sure to show the progression over a month or whatever you want to track on to see how far you're at the goal. Then you have meetings, and that is actually just a feed. So it will show you like rows. Each one of them will be a meeting that has been scheduled or planned or held, and then you can see what company, what contact is it, what salesperson is taking a call, and then a meeting description, the date for when it's going down or when it has gone down, and then again the meeting description. You should have AI to fill that out for you instead of having your salespeople do that. Your salespeople should just have the meeting, go on with day, or jump straight into the next meeting or whatever, you know. And also people, they forget about stuff. So get a AI meeting recorder. You can synchronize it with HubSpot. It jumps onto every online meeting that you have, records it, transcribes it, and makes a summary of whatever you talked about on that meeting, so you never again loses the thing. Then you as a manager or another sales colleague can go into that contact, see, oh, you had a meeting, see the whole meeting, or just read the summary of what you talked about. Same with the funnel, contact to customer. It's the same thing, like how long does it take from a cold customer contact to enter your CM until they become a customer? How many days does that elapse over? How many stages do they pass through? Is there any stages that is kind of like stalling them? Do we need to do something about it? Recurring revenue, that is for retainer services. I know a lot of marketing agencies, you know, they have clients on a recurring retainer basis. They're paying them like almost like a subscription. That is also really easily trackable with HubSpot, so you can see, you know, everything that's going on with that. And I'll actually show you some more down the customer retention dashboard about that. But this is just to say, like, this will probably show you like a total view of it. Then we have the contact intake dashboard. This is just showing you where are your contacts coming from and entering your CRM. Is it from paid ads? Is it from your website? Is it from an ebook? Is it from a landing page? You know, this can track it for you, showing you where your leads are coming from. Sales reps and team performance is nice if you're managing a team or if you just want to have this data for yourself. So you can have a team activity timeline just showing like, okay, what is just going on instantly for my salespeople. So we'll like show, oh, salesperson 1 sent an email to this prospect, or this sales rep got booked by a meeting here, this sales rep closed the deal, stuff like that, to give you an instant feed. Then you have your sales activity totals. So that means like you can see like, okay, how many emails have we sent in total, how many calls have we made in total, how many meetings have we booked in total, how many LinkedIn messages have we sent in total, stuff like that. Lead response time is really, this is one is really good for you, and I don't think a lot of people, they're actually looking at this, but you can have in HubSpot, they can show you how fast do your sales reps actually respond to a lead or interact with a lead once they enter your system. So this is gonna make it real clear for you if you are following up with your leads fast enough. And as you maybe know, the statistics is saying that if you don't follow up with a lead within 1 hour of them signing up for something, your chance of converting that lead drops by 10 times, right? If you wait 24 hours, that drops by 400 times. So think about that. So this can help you see if your sales reps are actually making sure that they're interacting with leads fast enough. And if, let's say, somebody is slower than the others, then you can go in as a manager and support them and say, hey man, I can see that you're slow. What is it because you have too much administrative work or stuff that we need to move around? And then you can actually help them out. Completed activities. Yeah, there will just be a feed of all the tasks that they have done, so you can like also just see like, oh, that's great, They called that lead. That was good. We talked about that. Hey, he took that meeting. That's nice. He sent them that sales material. That's great. Meeting outcomes. That is also like, you know, once you have a meeting, you also want to maybe get some feedback on, did they actually show up? Did you actually have the meeting, or what happened? Because in HubSpot, once you log a meeting, which will happen automatically with your calendar, it will just say like the status will be open, the outcome will be open. But again, if you have this meeting AI recorder, it can actually go in for you, and then after the meeting is done, it has, you know, recorded it, and then it will actually synchronize with HubSpot to say the meeting is completed, so you get that data again automatically. Task complete assigned to all reps. Yeah, that's kind of like the complete activities, just the inverted one. So you can see all the tasks that is overdue and hasn't been done by the sales reps that they should do. So again, as a managing role, you can really support your people and say, hey man, I can see you have these 10 tasks that is over deadline. Can I help you in any way? Can I take some of them? Can I revert some of that, assign it to another colleague and help them out? Customer retention dashboard. This is gonna be really nice for especially people with recurring retainer clients. So you have your retention rate, your churn count. So that means you can see a percentage of how well are you actually holding on to your existing clients and how many are leaving you. You can do that on a monthly basis, quarterly basis, and see an increase or decrease. So again, be proactively, because you see the trends before it happens, before you're just standing there where like 10 clients are just resigned in 1 month, and you're just like, what the hell just happened there? So churn recent feed would be nice for you. Like if you really want to understand why it's happening, you should maybe have a required field. So whenever like somebody has to pull that one deal now over to the close because they cancel a retainer, have a required field that makes them write and describe why is it canceled. Put the reason in. This is going to make it easier for you to later, if you want to hunt down those clients, those cancel clients that are inactive now, then you can actually follow up with them and say, hey man, I saw that this was probably actually fixed that problem now, or just for you to get an idea on why this is probably happening and see some patterns. Count of active clients, count of inactive clients is going to be nice for you as well, like knowing exactly like, okay, these are the clients that we're servicing right now, these are the clients that we have off-boarded or that we don't have anymore. And then you can do all sorts of automated campaigns to them again, because they know you, so it's probably easier to sell them again. Upsell, renewal counts and rate. This is really nice to see, like, let's say you have you sell a service that runs over a course of 3 months or 6 months, and then you off-board the client. Well, now you could maybe track and see how many of them do you actually manage to renew or upsell to. You can have a count on that. You can also have a rate on that. So it could be nice to maybe have a dashboard that shows you like, we actually managed to get 35% of our clients to renew the service with us, so we must be doing something right. You can even have a goal that needs to be 50% or something like that. Again, all of this is just going to help you have a great overview of your business, make the right decisions faster to propel your business. It's also going to help you really gather your whole team and align your interest and your goals towards the same measurements. So I've seen some businesses where like salespeople are going after certain KPIs, management levels are looking at other KPIs. So it's just a mix, like it's a mix-up, right? And people are running around and they're not really aligned towards the same goal. But when you have an organization that is totally aligned towards the same goals, stuff is gonna happen and you're gonna outcompete people. Okay, now let me show you all the lists that we like to work with as well in our framework to really give salespeople that great overview, so they always know when they have a few spare minutes or an hour and they just want to hunt some leads and sell something, then they can always find relevant qualified leads here, or the most probable leads that they should spend their time on, instead of going through an endless contact list of 20,000 contacts and just randomly pick out someone, or like remember, who they should probably talk to. So this will help you out to always make sure that your salespeople always have the next step, like the next person to sell to, which is highly probable to be relevant and qualified and warm. So just some random stuff like leads today, leads this week, very easy. Uncontacted leads list is going to be relevant because that is leads that you haven't contacted yet that you need to contact. So those should be top of the list. High engagement leads list. So that is people who have shown a high engagement. We're going to use lead score for that. I'm going to show you that afterwards. Leads need following up. So that again, like that is leads that is somewhere maybe in your sales process. You send a proposal, you had a meeting with them, but you haven't put them into sequence, you haven't put a task on them that you need to follow with them, then they will show up here. So no one is getting left behind, no one is getting forgotten, because then you or your manager can go in and see, hey man, we need to follow up with these guys. I can see you had a meeting with them, let's put them in a sequence. Then we have the contacts in sequences, just again an overview of all the leads that are actively in a follow-up sequence, so you know that they're taken care of. You can have a list for each of the sequences that you have. Then we have the current client list. Then we have lost opportunities list. So again, like all the deals that we lost, have them assembled somewhere so we can have a reactivation campaign somewhere or sometime. Potential upsell, renewal, and cross-sell is going to tie into one of the lead scores as well. I'm going to explain you. List of assigned leads for each rep, so you can see for each of your salespeople which are the leads that they are handling, that they are responsible for and working on. You can have something like visited the website in the last X days. You can have downloaded lead magnets, maybe a list for each of the lead magnets would be a good idea. You have all the contacts who booked a meeting, maybe one for each of the reps as well to divide it over. You have leads who have a lead score over a certain amount, specific lead form, lead magnet, high intent leads, it ties into one of the download lead magnet. So data hygiene lists. If you want a list, like I didn't really show you all of the reports and the list that we have for the data hygiene. If you want that, you can comment in the video, and then I'll show you exactly what we're doing with them, because we have a lot of them. So unengaged contacts, that is contacts haven't shown any activity lately. They haven't answered or clicked or opened any of your emails. They haven't been to your website. They haven't shown anything that we can track of interest. So event attendees, so if you have webinars, if you have physical events, you also want to put them on a list. Geographical lists, you can even segment it out on geographical. So in HubSpot, it actually has some database it pulls from. So once you create a company in HubSpot, it can find a company sometimes, and then can say, okay, I know this company is located here. I know this company has this revenue. I know this company has this many employees. Ties into the next one. You can have list on company filters as well, or contact filters, to find all the companies who have over a certain amount of employees or over a certain amount of revenue. You can also have third-party databases synchronized with HubSpot to populate that data for you. And now we come down to the high qualification score leads and the high heat score leads and the high upsell opportunity leads. So high qualification score leads, I don't see a lot of businesses actually utilizing this form of score. So what that is that you have a lot of leads coming into your system. If you're running paid ads, if you're having ebooks or some giveaways, then people will sign up for them and coming into a system. That means sometimes you have an overload of leads coming into a CRM, and you need to figure out who the beeps, should we spend time on talking to. So what you can do is you can have some filters in there, giving people points on certain things. So let's say, okay, they have an actually company domain, not just a Gmail and Outlook email. That will give some points. They have a job title that is within these, set of job titles, CEOs, CXOs, head of marketing, head of sales, whatnot, and then give that a score. You can also have titles that is like lower level than that, like some manager or something like that, or just marketing employee, or something that's lower tier, and then you can give that lower points. Because they're still relevant, but they're just not the decision maker. I think you get the point. You can have it on geographical location. Let's say like they have to be, of course, in our country. They have to be maybe even in a certain region or town, if we can fetch that data. They have to be within a certain industry. Stuff like that you can use to automatically or semi-automatically qualify some of these leads. And another thing you should do also, if you have one of these forms that you use for people can sign up, have some qualifying questions maybe to again help you with filtering out some of those leads that you shouldn't be spending on time on. So, and then imagine in your CRM system now you have a list where on top of the list it'll be the ones with the highest qualification score. So you will always tell your salespeople, like, you should go for those people like from the top and down, because they are the most qualified, the ones we do want to do business with. And then the next up, we should have the high heat score, right? So we want to have some idea of how hot the lead is, right? How probable are they that they are in the buying decision or along the buying journey for our service? So what you're going to do here is you're going to have, again, a score saying, okay, once people visit our website, that's going to give a few points. Once they open our email to click a link to our email, that's going to give points. Once they open our sales material, that's going to give points. Once they respond to a LinkedIn message, that's going to give points. All of these things that we can track of activity is going to give points to see who is hot. So a good example here again is like you can have a list in your CRM showing you all the people who visited the website in the last month. You can even have it rate on specific web pages. So let's say if you just visit your general domain website, that's going to give 5 points. But if they visit like your pricing, if you have like something about price or about a certain service, that's going to give 10 points instead, right? And then you can in your CRM system see this contact have visited exactly this page, so you know that you can call them now and you can ask them in about this maybe. High upsell opportunities leads, and that's another score I haven't really seen anyone else use. So you can score your existing clients based on the interest that is showing maybe for other services or more of the same service that you have, to give you an idea on who of your existing clients might be showing interest in another service or more of your service. So this could be you score them based on that they have visited certain service pages on your website, right? They have downloaded a certain ebook about a certain service that you perform and stuff like that. So give them points for that. And that is going to make it really easy for your salespeople to then try to reach out to the existing clients and say, hey man, I was actually wondering if this would be something of service to you, and then get a talk about that. Active, inactive customers, yeah, that makes sense. I think just having an overview of who are you actually serving right now actively, and who have you offboarded, or who is cancelled and who is not an active customer anymore. Good. So quotes and contracts actually is something I like to talk about as well. Your salespeople should have the easiest way to engage in selling, right? They should have the easiest way of taking a customer once they say yes to closing that customer. So what you can do in HubSpot is you can actually create quotes in here very easily. So you have a deal in your pipeline for that client that you're trying to close. You have written in the amount of money that they are going to pay for the service that you are trying to sell them. You're even probably put in what is the services. Now in HubSpot Super, you can click one button from that deal that will create a quote for them outlining everything. And you can even have them sign the contract in the quote. You can even, if you're using Stripe and online payments like that, just Stripe actually, then you can have a Stripe link generated on that quote, and then you can click another button, and then that will send the quote on an email to the lead. So it will create a URL that they can visit uniquely for them, and then they can just click one button to sign the contract, and then click another button to open the payment link, where they can just slap in the payment details, and then they can pay it directly. All of this is synchronized with HubSpot. So you will know exactly, you get notified when exactly that this person has signed the contract. You will get notified exactly when this person has paid with the payment link. And even better than that, you can have follow-up procedures launching once you can say, because once you create a quote and send it to him, there will be a status on that quote. So let's say the status is being awaiting. So let's launch an automation saying if there's been in awaiting for 3 days, it's going to automatically send them a follow-up for that, right? So making sure people that get pushed forward in your sales process. So that is something I think is one of the very, very strong points about HubSpot. Yeah, and these are all a few of the things. I also have a lot of workflows, a lot of properties. This is just going to bore you and be super nerdy. If you want to learn more about it, you can always just contact me, and then I'll be glad to have another session with you where we go through all these things and how it can help your business. So all in all, I hope you see how this can really help you to actually free up 2 hours per day per salesperson just by doing these things, because we're going to automate every single action that we can. So that's going to enable your salesperson to handle 5 to 10x more leads, right, and follow up with them actually better than they're doing right now if they're doing manually. It's going to help them automate all the syncing, logging of data. It's going to be cleaner data, and it's going to enable you to actually get more data than if you're just manually logging them, because people are going to forget it, that they're going to log different things, they're going to inflate the numbers or whatnot. And that extra time that your salespeople have, they're going to know exactly what to do at that time, because they're going to have these segments. They're going to look into the CRM system, knowing exactly who they're going to touch, who they're going to have interactions with, and make sure they connect with when they have the time. So that means there's not going to be no waste of time. They can use all the time actively selling and being in contact contact with customers so they can close more commission. So again, you can close more deals as a business, so your interests are more aligned. You're gonna have a better overview of your total business, your sales activity. You're gonna be a proactive leader who can spot the trends, who can base all your decisions on data and a real-time view of reality with your business, right? You can make decisions that are super transparent, that's very easily explainable to your team and to the higher ups that you need to explain your actions to, just by showing them the same dashboards that you are using to base your decisions on, so no gut feelings. You're gonna see an increase in sales, because if you start doing this, you know that the money is in the follow-ups, you know that the money is in the volume of qualified leads, right? And that is going to enable you to do exactly that with this framework. So imagine that your competitors are not doing this right now, and you started doing this, and you became a sales cyborg and really lift and integrate your life with these digital systems that's just going to enable you to do more of what you already do with less effort. Imagine you did that now. How would that look in your competitive market? Would you easily outscale your competitors? Probably. Would you easily could hire salespeople, and just because you know what to do now, and you can put them into the system, you don't need to explain them a lot, they don't need to learn it by themselves and develop their own, Excel sheets and sticky notes to keep track of it. You can just plop them into the system and they can start working, and they would love you for it, because it's all very streamlined, very easy, and they don't have to log in the data, right? So that's going to increase your sales, and it's going to help you outcompete your competitors, because you're going to have a competitive advantage with all of these things going on, right? I hope this made a lot of sense. I hope this helped you out. If you would consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Only if you think I deserved it. I try to bring value, and if you have any questions, I read the comments and I make sure to answer them correctly. I love to help you people out. I love to help the people that I serve to really win in their market with these digital systems, and I believe this is one of the greatest ways and most underappreciated ways to do that. Bye.